Oh, I did sort of make something like this earlier, but I'm not okay about it too much. I was talking about something earlier about safe gaming and stuff, and yeah, didn't really feel like publishing it. This one I might, because I think it's important to even discuss. Uh, Otherwise, that can bore people over. As the title says, uh, miracles don't happen. And I generally start to believe this is true as time goes on. And it seems to be a thing more than when I get older, I've noticed. Because I think it's like less exciting when you get older, to be honest, and it's a pretty big kick in the teeth, essentially, because you grow up thinking, birthdays could be some of the best days of your life, Christmases could be the best day of your life, but no, that's only temporary. Not that it's a bad thing necessarily, but you are children at the end of the day. And yeah, like growing up, I didn't have the best sort of life. If anything, it's kind of tame compared to others. So there's no like massive hardships or massive benefits really. I had something in between, and that was not really. Um, at some point in primary school, I did get asked what I wanted to do as a career instead of primary school for some reason. Did I say primary school? I meant secondary school. I was asked, and I didn't really know how to answer it at first, but then I sort of looked back on like the things I enjoyed in life, wanted to aspire to be in. Like two of them were kind of interesting. So the things I wanted to be, I wanted to be a YouTuber for one thing, which isn't really a massive deal to be honest, given the amount of people who already have like 1 million subs and just yeah, they act like nothing's happened. Then I also wanted the second option, which was to join the Ozcast because I was watching them at the time and felt really inspired, and I really wanted to be part of that network because at the time I was quite outwards and quite expressive. That's sort of why I wanted to join them as well. I felt like I had a decent sense of humour, and also because I was better at Minecraft than them, which was one of the ideas I had in my head at the time. That sort of prompted me to want to do that, and yeah, you know, let's get on. Oh, yeah, I've forgotten what Flow Hollows. I need to check that out at some point. Yeah, it's been a weird journey. Um, yeah, uh, past that, I started getting mental health issues, and later on, that caused its own plethora of issues. Got depression, felt more sort of anxious as well. Yeah, life just started to kick in the hardest it ever had, and as a result, I just didn't feel like doing much at all. I just wasn't happy in life at all, and that was that really. And I didn't really have any direction or any sort of aspirations. I didn't even have the desire to like fucking do YouTube, for example. Now, I couldn't kick myself into gear to do that, and well, it wasn't until obviously I think 2018, 2019, where I decided to start doing it and start publishing things I make. I say publishing, uploading, more like, and it was like a form of like music or art, or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking for a treasure map. Let's get that. Yeah, I didn't have much direction. I was just playing games at the time, doing the odd bit of artwork and fanfic writing, which also sucked. Like the fanfic writing list. Well, there we go. Okay, give me a new pair of maps. There we go. I'm not lagging. That's weird. I noticed the lags, but I think OBS probably crashed. Yep, that it did. I'll close it for the moment. Yeah, it's weird. And Bandicam's lagging out. Nice. So yeah, no direction and no aspirations really. And I didn't really have much inspirations either, and I always sort of prescribed to the view that if you had a hero or like a figure in life, that means you're somewhat like imperfect if you follow them like that, and that's both a good and a bad way of thinking of it. Because in general, you can't essentially pretend to be your hero, but you can only imitate them, and I think that's how you can essentially become the best person you can be. Um, so yeah, I never had a hero, funny enough. I know a lot of people have, but I've just never had that. It just never clicked with me, so I didn't really care. You can see why that sort of becomes a problem. Excuse the clicking, this stuff is annoying. Let's skip to when I started making digital audio workstation music, and I only recently discovered I'm not exactly good at it because of the mixing and stuff and the EQs and the names. What? Um, yeah, it's like a whole clusterfuck of things to consider, and it gets complicated to do over time and can be stressful to an extent. One of the main stress is when the software don't fucking work, which it currently isn't properly. I'm making a metal cover at the moment and it's lagging like hell. It's so bad that it like plays by itself. But after I paused it, it's like, oh, spaghettios. I genuinely hate working with technology, and that's sort of why I even have a hobby to begin with. Like artwork and reading and guitar. And as I grew older, I realised with my autism worsening, like the sensory issues getting far worse than they ever been, I have to sort of pick myself up and find a path. That's why I started music and artwork. There's two of the things I wanted to do and wanted to give back to the world actually for giving me such joy and happiness. Sort of why I started it all. And then eventually I started doing these funny moments videos, random moments as I started with. And yeah, it sort of ties into the problem I'm at today. Actually now, probably. Miracles don't happen, it seems. And it sounds dumb, sounds like it's very true, but yeah, people have told me hard work pays off, and I've not experienced that once. Not in the time of making videos. So essentially, I'm left in this situation where I don't know what to do. I've legit thought of quitting various things like quitting music and art, or perhaps using AI to assist me in it anyway to make it anywhere near as good as people I look up to for that. Um, and that's like one of the rare use cases because I think I have dysgraphia and dyspraxia and tinnitus in terms of music. Because I think sometimes you can get ideas from AI, even though I don't generally agree with it. Uh, yeah. Um, so the situation I'm in now, as you can probably tell, it's just like when I put the effort in, it doesn't seem to pay off. And that's the main crux of the issue at the moment. That's sort of the problem I'm having currently, and it's weighing down heavily on me. It's sort of hard to speak as well because I've been feeling down the past few months. It doesn't help that situations across the world are sort of impacting my mental health to an extent. I'm not necessarily scared. I'm not scared for myself anyway, I'm just scared for others. Um, as people should be. I think that's generally a good thing, but at the same time, the fact that I'm even fearing it, or others are, it shows that it's a massive problem. but that just sort of ties into it and ties into each other sort of thing. It just sucks real bad. Yeah. So as I said, like I put the effort in and it doesn't pay off. I'm not necessarily looking for monetary gain, even though that would be great, personally. It's just like I can't stand that I'm doing something, putting all this time and effort in, and not getting neither a result nor support, essentially. And it happened with the things that I think I've done well in as well, which hits even harder, to be honest. Looking back on it, started with when I started making decent covers, like with Hugh Last of Us. No, the both of us is his name. Keep getting those names mixed up somehow. It was a decent soundtrack, and that's probably my favourite track from that game. And I made a metal cover of it that actually sounded like almost an original song. It sort of shaped my style for music, and I owe a lot of things to that really. And also getting heavier 7 strings, which really helped for metal covers in general. Um, then started making templates and stuff, started being more professional about it. Started EQing, getting advice, because I knew I'd clicked on something and I just need to make the final touches. And because there literally wasn't anywhere I could ask, which I couldn't think of anyway, because it was actually a place, but nobody suggested it for some reason. Um, I ended up failing a lot, stumbling and stuff, not finding something that really worked, and that did weigh heavily on my mind. As I listen back to my songs and think that doesn't sound right, but I don't know how to address it. It's like, help, just help me please. And it's the same with artwork as well. I didn't know what I was doing with it, and I didn't make anything for a long time. You know, completed projects, but I didn't make anything that I was happy with. So I never released it. And that's always been a struggle of mine. I even asked for advice as well once, actually a few times, and then a subreddit banned me for asking if I have a disability. For asking if I had a disability, and I've actually got the screenshots of that to show that they were able to just ask actual advice. I remember I told them all like, hey, I possibly have a disability, and you removed my post because it broke a rule that's very arbitrary and shouldn't be there to begin with, because it is a genuine question. People legitimately have disabilities, so it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Do you want people to learn or not? And apparently not in their case, so I'm never touching that place again. The cesspit of stubborn ableist mods, probably homophobic as well, let's be honest. It's not underwater here. Shit, I didn't know that. Maybe I did actually. Doesn't look familiar. Yeah. Well, you know. Yeah, I never got any good advice for it, and it wasn't until recently I actually got advice for both. But also, like jumping back a bit, it was also like the Dr. Wiley's Castle cover I made, the original, um, and it was good. Like, honestly, I think it was one of the best things I've ever made at that time. And look up, it was legit great, and I think looking back on it, I still pat myself on the back with it. Really, um, something I'm quite proud of, and it's rare for me to even be proud of it. It's not just because I made a cover that I liked, it's because I did something original. I added to the song. I added like a section to the chorus and it worked. And also added like an intro which wasn't great, but it was something. That sort of helped, and yeah, like it's a good thing, essentially. Um, I've got Discord notifications. Nothing. Nice. And then later on I made other bits which are good, but not as good. I think the next best cover I probably made was like Mystic Mansion mail cover revisited. And that was amazing in itself because I managed to make a solo that sounded like something Demetor would make. That's great. And that was when I improved all the sounds and stuff, got better VSTs and whatever. Skip to a recent example, a few actually. I made a Metal Man stage cover, which was really good. I was inspired by OC Remix, The Passing of the Blue Crown. What the hell was Cross Dream? Little Dream. Okay. Yeah, I used that as a template and it really worked. So I started doing that more and it has sort of helped in a sense, but also hasn't in other ways. So it's a bit more complicated in that sense. Yeah, I didn't find myself stuck when making it though. I knew what I wanted and I did it essentially. Just pretty rare as well. And then an even more recent example, which was a parody of Smash Mouth All Star. Smash Mouth All Star? What? You know, you've got an All Star. No, it's a parody based on Deep Rock Galactic. And I had the idea when I was doing the washing up, essentially here in my new house. And also, like, being in a bad situation doesn't help things, like, it can in some ways. I was doing the washing up and I came up with the lyrics there and then. So it was literally one of those things that's like instantaneous. It was like almost a miracle in that sense. Like sometimes you hear in like some of the old documentaries for certain bands, you hear that they come across success by chance and experimentation. And that literally happened to me like a few times, like obviously with both of us and Metal Cover. And then later on, obviously, Dr. Wily's Castle and stuff, and there's definitely others in between. I can't remember. I've had a lot of eureka moments, and even in my own originals, I've sort of had things I'm proud of in that. Um, it's like, if they're that good, then why haven't they taken off? And the thing is, nobody gives me feedback, so I don't know what's good and what's bad. So I'm just stuck in that sense. Um, so that just makes things much harder than they actually need to be. And I feel lost as a result. Like, I need proper help with this sort of stuff, and I don't know where to go. And it's not just like in the musical sense, it's in sort of publicity sense. Like, how do I get people's attention? How do I show them that there's a different type of music out there that's, if it's good enough for me, it's probably good enough for others? And I don't know how to address that exactly. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I just feel disappointed that when I look back on these and see on YouTube itself, it has very few views and stuff, and like the things that have taken off are things that I've like not even done too much to. Like Sonic Unleashed, for some reason I get a lot of views on those covers. On the Windmill All Night, I think it is the Boston Nova one. I made a metal cover of the first one, did really well, and so did my first Deep Rock Galactic cover actually. But everything else since has just gone down in views. Even things before those exact things like Deep Rock and Sonic Unleashed. Um, even though I'm happy with the things I've made about them, like some of the Deep Rock Galactic covers are actually insane looking back on them. Like Attack of Glyphids, I did like a Final Fantasy 15 style. Was that in the cover itself? And then the one after, I forgot, maybe it was the one after that one. after Axis Out's like OPEF style, and then after that I did um, a sort of Flesh God Apocalypse style one. And no wait, and there's one after that one. I forgot what it's called, but I did one in the style of Killswitch and Cage, which worked really good. I was actually really happy with that. But again, it didn't get the views and nobody really seemed to care. Even though those generally seemed like something good that I could listen to. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. And yeah, this proves the point of the title, like miracles don't happen. And I should say now that obviously this is going out there, it should be proven wrong, essentially. If miracles do happen, then make it happen. I've done all I can at this point. It's not up to me whether something gets popular or not, or gets listened to, whether it inspires people. I think that's what I've peaked, essentially, is when I end up inspiring people. That's not really what I hope to attain, but even then, it's something good. Something good that I could have given to the world. I think there's a lot of go away from that. High level. Um, I just want to do right by people and do as much good as possible. Because that's sort of been my goal. I just don't like when, again, I put in the effort and it doesn't pay off. What do I do? And people don't tell me necessarily, so it makes it even tougher. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end this because my throat's getting dry somehow. And also, like, some things that get me down as well, like when making stuff like this, or even guides. I've had complaints in the past that people don't like the text to speech, and then suddenly I get complaints when I do it in my normal voice, and people say, I can't understand what you're saying. I'll be careful what you wish for, motherfucker.